Welcome to the Wednesday meditation. If you would like to have a name called out at the time when we're doing prayer, you can write their name on a piece of paper and put it in the prayer box. There's paper by the box and a pen, and you can do that anytime up to the time we're going to do prayer. And I'm going to be collecting the names as Jack's talking. So if you can do that soon, it would be great. Anybody that would like to join choir, it's open, and we're working on Thanksgiving music, and also we're starting Christmas music. And we're meeting downstairs, and the room is purified just before you come in of everything. It's like walking into a zone that is perfectly healthy. And we're sitting separated, it's quite a difference from each other. And we had a pretty good turnout, but we could use more people. So if you're thinking about it, please come, because it's a great way to meet people. We have fun. It's not like I'm a regimented kind of thing. I like to have people enjoy themselves. So you're welcome to join the choir. And it's going to be an incredible performance for Christmas. And Thanksgiving is fun. It's sing-alongs. And you're guiding it if you're in the choir. Okay, we're going to be chanting tonight. And it's just a call and response. And just relax and let your soul go to a place of communion with everyone in this room. Let's feel that oneness that we can experience through this process. Okay. Go within. Deep within. Breathe in. Breathe out. Be still. Feel God. No peace. Shalom. Shalom. No peace. Shalom. God within is always present. God within is always present. Source of all life is always present. Divine force is always present. Go within. Deep within. Be still. Feel God. No peace. Feel God. No peace.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, you have braved the cold weather to be here. And so you are the devoted, the most devoted. You know, when you get down to it, there's just two levels of awareness. One is the level of duality, in which the mind perceives everything in terms of separation. The other level is that of oneness, in which the mind recognizing that there is nothing outside that oneness, nothing else within. It is all one presence. So the journey of human beings actually comes down to moving from the initial state of consciousness in which we were born, raised, and educated, in which we took on an awareness of being a physical, personal body self, and recognizing as we live how that doesn't really bring us into harmony with everything else around us, and eventually finds our way to the spiritual work so that we can start to open the mind to the reality of the interconnectedness of all things. It's interesting because in the book of John, the Gospel of John, Jesus, who is the Christ in you, and if you are reading the Bible and studying the Bible, you should begin to recognize that Jesus represents the universal divine nature that moves in and through mankind. And so this divine nature refers to itself as the tree. And you'll know that in the book of Revelations, it speaks about the tree of life. But here in John, the Christ nature speaks in this way in John 15, starting with verse 1. I am the true tree, and my Father is one with me. Every branch of mine that bears no fruit, he takes away. And every branch of mine that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are, what is that word? You are already made clean by the word which I have spoken to you. For I abide in you, and you abide in me. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the tree, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the tree, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. This is an emphatic statement about what is really required of us to find true life. In other words, we will do a lot of things in the initial state of consciousness and endeavoring to find life truly worth living, free of fear, and living life in joy and peace with insight. Insight is knowing in each moment what is appropriate. And so here's relating to us the necessity to enter the spiritual level of awareness, to recognize that to interpret one's life as being separate and outside the one great life is to isolate oneself from that peace, joy, love, wisdom, and insight that makes life truly worth living. So in this, we have another reference to the oneness of all life. We all start off in the third dimension by learning body consciousness, duality. This is the perception of being a separate branch, separate from the other branches and separate from the tree. But all that the branch is capable of merely derives from the tree itself. Its energy, its life comes from the tree and the deep roots of the tree in the earth. So the branch cannot, no matter how it attempts to isolate itself and find life truly worth living, it must at some point recognize that it is part of a greater intelligence, the greater love that gives it breath. It needs to come to that awareness, and so it can live, and it doesn't necessarily withdraw from living life. It withdraws from viewing that life as separate, as being a separate entity whose well-being is determined by its own volition and its own personal will and its ability to be cunning and wise. But aside from the divine intelligence that lives within us, aside from that, we can't have insight into how to live effectively. And that's all that the masters are talking about. So all that the branch is, and all that the branch is ever capable of, is derived from the tree itself. By awakening to the awareness that the tree is the one life and intelligence, the one presence in all that it looks upon, is to live from the divine awareness, the divine truth. And this truth has been around since the beginning of time. And we have it here in the scripture, in the Bible, in a different way from the apostle. In this, we're given the historic account of the Apostle Paul's journey to Greece. And he sees while he's there all of these different shrines and statues of the different gods that the Greeks worship. And then he sees a monolith to an unknown God. So it seems that in all of their philosophical awareness of the powers of the different gods, there still seems to be some element that they don't know about. And to them, he says, I'm here to speak to you about the unknown God. And this is what he says to all of them. And he, God, made from one every nation of people to live on the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. I'll share that with you again. And he, God, made from one every nation of people to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. And as I said, we have had these truths down through the ages. Let me share this with you. The tree, which is in this illustration, omnipresent creator. The tree is the omnipresent creator, or the tree of true life. It wants only for its branches to live in love and harmony with one another, which is the essential nature of God, who is the tree of life. It's interesting that this goes back thousands of years, even to our Bible. From the very beginning, it said that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And of course, we come to understand that the very nature of God is love. And then the volition or the will of God is that all those who are of God, created of God, will live from love for each other. And that seems to be a very simple process. However, the initial state of consciousness that we have to finally decide is not sufficient. That initial state of consciousness of developing an ego-centered definition of a body self in a world of separate others, that is a profound level of consciousness. It's a very powerful level of awareness. And it's not that easy to transcend that level of consciousness. It takes a focused attention at being that which the ego resists being, which is the present, helpful, considerate emissary of light and peace. Anyone can ask themselves the question, to what degree am I the considerate, compassionate emissary of light and peace? To what degree am I that? To that degree, you are in touch with your coming destiny, your reality as a God-conscious being. And to the degree that you're not that, to that degree, there is still some practice necessary to open your mind to the reality that brings happiness and love and peace. For it is only in giving that out can it come into us. Because in truth we are one, interconnected. So there's no deviation from that. And even the slightest deviation, the slightest exclusion in the mind of anyone excludes that one from entering the consciousness divine. And the Course in Miracles speaks directly to this as well. I'll share this with you from the Course in Miracles text, page 163, paragraphs 3 and 4. And in the new edition, It's on page 175 in the text. God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. I'll read this again. You know, the beautiful part about this is you could take just about any paragraph from the Course in Miracles, and if you got into it and really meditated upon it, you would begin to understand that it's relating the same truth continually, because there is only one reality. The reality is that we're all part of a greater intelligence and love that we refer to as God, and that we can align our consciousness with that intelligence and with that love, and thereby become God-conscious beings. And everything else is simply a trial and error journey in the world. If we're not restricted by the divine presence, we can attempt to find happiness and peace, whatever it is we're seeking. We can attempt to do that in any way we decide. There is no penalty for attempting to find whatever it is you're looking for in life. The penalty is that in doing that, looking outside of ourselves for something to attach to our personalities, cuts us off from the joy, the love, the peace, and the wholeness in the consciousness divine. So there is no hell, so to speak. There is no opposing will of God. I sometimes give this example when people talk about the wrath of God. You may get on your bicycle and you may not have a chain guard on your bicycle. And you may start riding, and then your pant leg gets caught in the chain and the sprocket, and you get tumbled onto the ground, and you get all banged up, bruised and scraped. No angel comes down and beats you up for being stupid. You learned a lesson. You need to really put a cuff guard on, or you need to put a chain guard on your bicycle, and that's just a learning process. But the difficulty is that people continually cycle over and over again through the same mistakes that they have made. In other words, they are not awake in living. When I used to do ongoing counseling, it became so evident that people are moving on and taking on the very same things that created problems for them to begin with. And why they do that, why they're not, is because they are not awake in living. All that any religion should be asking of human beings is be awake in the process of living. Take some stock in what occurs as a result of what you're thinking and doing. That's simply it. Be somewhat introspective. Don't continue to be unconscious. And that is possibly the most favorite word of Eckhart Tolle, is that we're unconscious, we're sleepwalking, and we're not picking up what life has to teach us. So we continue to ride that bicycle with our pant leg loose. We continue to get dumped and wonder why. And we get up and we curse and we say, oh, okay, you know, why is this always happening to me? It's always happening because you're not awake yet. You're not introspective enough to say, you know what? I tried this before. I've attempted to do this, and it didn't work out. It's like the wrong approach. It was very inconsiderate what I did. And so here's what A Course in Miracles is attempting to get across to us. God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. Very simply, this point, as it's being made in these particular passages of A Course in Miracles, is that your brothers and sisters are everywhere. How do you perceive them? What is your relationship to them? Do you hold them in high regard? Do you carry on an immediate level of forgiveness, compassion? Do you bestow peace of mind for yourself in every situation? So he's asking you, what are you looking for? If you're looking for salvation, if you're looking for joy and peace, then it's all around you. Don't hold any grievances against anyone or anything. Look upon them the way you would look upon yourself. Give them permission to be searching for the light, and allow them to be so, and allow them to be, abrupt and inconsiderate if that's what they're doing. You don't have to involve yourself in it. You don't have to take issue with it. You simply have to listen to it. Ask yourself if you're doing this. You simply have to be able to look past it, not react to it. Sustaining what? Look at the majesty of that. What mastery there is in looking past personal confrontation coming from any other person, looking past it absolutely, and you are in a state of consciousness where you're sending blessings. And you're asking the question within yourself, what would bring peace here? What would bring healing? What is appropriate in this moment? That's mastery. That's it. And you do that if you practice the presence of your divine nature. So the masters are all saying the same thing. It's been said down through the ages. There's nothing new under the sun, as Ecclesiastes says. And everything else, and it's beautifully put by Ecclesiastes, the preacher man in the Bible. He says everything else is chasing the wind. If we want to know the cause of all suffering in life, it stems from the unawakened mind of that branch which blames itself and other branches of the tree for the failure of its personal ego to make life fit its personal desires, dictates, and demands. The preacher in Ecclesiastes is right. All else is striving after the wind. Here's the awakening shift in awareness from the limited consciousness to the at-one-ment, which is giving out in any given moment forgiveness, compassion, peace, harmony, and joy. And finally, you can quote any one of these teachers, these masters, these gurus who have taken to task their own awareness. This is Eckhart Tolle again. Why is he saying the same thing that the other teachers are saying? Is it because he read their books and memorized what they said? Here's what the master Eckhart Tolle says. It has been said that God is love, but that is not absolutely certain. God is the one life in and beyond the countless forms of life. Love implies duality, lover and beloved, subject and object. So love is the recognition of oneness in the world of duality. This is the birth of God into the world of form. Love makes the world less worldly, less dense, more transparent to the divine dimension, the light of consciousness itself. So, we are extremely blessed to have all of these masters sharing the truth in the different ways they give, the different parables, examples, and stories. So tonight we have the opportunity just to rest in the okayness. Imagine that. Can you imagine if God, as a great, beautiful light, just appeared on every television station, in every computer, just appeared, and the voice came into our consciousness and said, "You are okay, just as you are. You are okay, just as you are. Give yourself permission to be okay, to be beloved, and you will automatically be sharing that in every relationship." So we rest in our okayness as we listen to the beautiful tones of the crystal bowl. And when we get to that period of silence, if you don't have a particular mantra or an affirmation, you can use this mantra. I am in you. You are in me. I am the truth that will make you free. Be still and know that I am God. I am in you. You are in me. I am the truth that will make you free. Be still and know that I am God. In this refined state of consciousness, we will offer the names of those who have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, just let the thought, "You are whole," go out to that name.
Wayne Bartlett, Julie Hamilton and family, Sylvia Ronstead, Sarah Parto, Sandy Chamberlain and Winnie the Cat, Diane Sutton, Tim Spahn, Tate Martell, Kruger Rock firefighters and their families, Mark Thor Olson and family, Louis Ribera and family, Mike's mom and dad, Bernadette Hallowhorn and grandson, Dalton Barrow, Lisa Langley Barlow, June Lampert, Steve Sheets, Kaylee Kaysen and Kelly, Steve and Donna, Louis Jordan, Maureen, Ann, Jack Martell, Sandy, all the migrants stranded. May our waters be purified. May our land become clean. Dell and Steph and Jimmy, Kaya, the United States government, the air, water, earth, all life on planet Earth. You can call out a name at this time if you would like to do so. You see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment to visualize this refined level of awareness, the recognition of our interconnectedness, rising in the consciousness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And this divine awareness rising in the consciousness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And it keeps spreading to everyone sharing these United States of America with us. And it continues to move in the consciousness of all humanity throughout all of the continents of the world, all the nations of the world. And there coming a new pristine awareness that the new heaven and the new earth are one, and that all the creatures and all the life forms share in the harmony of this oneness and the majesty of the recognition that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. We'll have somebody passing our offering bags around, and you can make a physical offering, or you can make an offering in the credit card dip jar that's on the desk in the lobby. And to all of you that are online, you can scroll down to where it says donate. It'll share with you how you can donate to Unity of Boulder. So let's just bring to mind that financial gift we'd like to make to the truth that is shared here at Unity of Boulder. And let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. So it.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
So you're all invited to join us at the special meditation service on Sunday at 9 o'clock. And it will be my final lesson, spiritual lesson in gratitude. So come on down, we'll bless this offering, and then I'll give you some more insights into what's going on. Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth. The Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. So we have a number of things that we can participate in. It's not just the idea of being good. It's the idea of being good for something. While you're here, you can make beautiful things take place on your path. So I want to just share with all of you, especially those of you that are watching on screen, we have our choir rehearsal tomorrow night at 6:30. There'll be some music that will be sung at the Thanksgiving service on Thursday. That will be at 10 o'clock. We have a Thanksgiving service on Thursday at 10 o'clock, and the choir will sing at that. But more importantly, they'll start to take a look at the music that's going to be sung at our special Christmas service, which takes place on Christmas Eve. So if you're inclined to do that, or have you ever thought, I'd just like to try do some singing in the choir, you don't have to have had voice lessons or anything like that. We give you enough narcotics to sing.
We're meeting down in the middle room. Downstairs in the middle room, and it's all being purified before you enter. We're sitting distances away from each other, but we still can feel a camaraderie. We
Yeah, we
always
have
have
the-
refreshments, and it's just it's a fun experience. And I'm trying to keep the music really simple, but has a message for what Thanksgiving's all about. And you're welcome to join. It's not going to be that difficult. And we're starting our Christmas music, and that's going to be wonderful. We have tremendous soloists, and we'll be getting into groups and doing the most difficult numbers. You won't be doing those. You'll be doing easier numbers, but still beautiful and a great camaraderie that you will have the rest of your life with these people that are so special that come to the choir.
All right. The other thing that's happening, and I'm not so sure we got ahead of the curve on this yet, we have a Thanksgiving bash taking place here in the fellowship hall. And we have Andy, who is our Uniteens leader. He's leading that, and he's looking for volunteers to work with him. But it's usually a huge bash that we have, and we're asking people, we haven't put the list out yet, but that list will be out there on Sunday of the different things we'd like you to donate to that. We're going to need, I don't know if it's even possible. It's interesting these days, whether you can still get turkeys. But, you know, we need turkeys, and we'll need yams, and we'll need potatoes, and we'll need margarine and butter and bread and, you know, wine and whatever. So all that's going to take place also on Thanksgiving. So we have a beautiful Thanksgiving service, which is going to be very special this year at 10 a.m. on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Shad Groverland, our son, I think he's more my son than he is yours.
Naturally.
Naturally, yeah.
Yes.
He's got more. He's now the worldwide leader of Unity, Unity worldwide leader. He's going to be here.
10 pounds.
Huh?
He was 10 pounds.
Right, we knew he was going to be the worldwide leader. Anyway, he's going to be here to give a special, short message about what Unity is doing these days. That's very interesting and beautiful, and it's about, you know, gratitude and love. So all of these things.
Anna will also sing.
Right, his wife, Erin, a beautiful voice, will sing. Okay, Sunday at 9 o'clock. We had 40 people last week, and so I revealed the miracle shirt. And I'll wear it again sometime. You'll see it. So to all of you, thanks for showing up. Have a beautiful night.